Hello, everybody. It's Coach Tonsoni with the halftime show. I hope I hit the right buttons and we're live. If not, someone text me who knows my cell phone number. What a good half to start the season for the Indiana Hoosiers. The Indiana Hoosiers lead 46-25 over Western Illinois at halftime, and it got off to a quick start. But Western Illinois hit some threes early, and then all of a sudden that second segment of play between the 16-minute timeout and a 12-minute timeout saw Indiana really not play good basketball and gave up the lead, and was down 12-11 and also was down 18-15 in the first half. And then all of a sudden, coming out of a timeout, the second television timeout, there was a change in the lineup, and boy, did that make all the difference. Justin Smith played the 4. And they went away from having traditional bigs at the 4 and post players at the 5, a bigger lineup, and they went with more of a smaller lineup, if you can. They had Jerome Hunter out there with Justin Smith, two guys with length, but more perimeter type players with two guards. And boy, those two segments, the lead went up to 24-15 at the 8-minute timeout, then a long segment before the next timeout. At a minute to play, Indiana pushed the lead up to 46-22, and they now lead 46-25 despite that long buzzer beater at the half, which is a little bit demoralizing. Otherwise, it would have been a 24-point lead for your Indiana Hoosiers. So a couple of players that stick out to me. Al Durham just looks good right now, and he's been off for a while with the bruised knee since the Marquette thing, but he came right in and picked up, and again, it's one half. Again, it's competition that Indiana should play well against. But it is his shot technique looks really, really, really solid. Nice lift on his jump shot. Good high follow through. Soft at the rim. And boy, if he can be a good, solid shooter and improve, and that consistency, that really is going to make Indiana tough to play against. And the other player that I think we have to mention is Justin Smith. Justin Smith brought energy from the start. I think you can always tell if Justin is locked in by what he does on the defensive side of the ball. He was in solid stances. He was guarding perimeters early. He was moving his feet, cutting off drives, and making great effort on the defensive end. And then that led to some good scores. Down low, they were using him to post up some smaller people, little mini jump hooks, some rebounds, some fast breaks. He took a couple questionable jump shots late, and his technique on his jump shot, he's got to shoot on the way up is what I call it, or at the top of his jump instead of holding on to it a little bit too long. And so his jumpers did not look very good, but he can still work on that, and we know that's something that he struggled with. But again, more so than his shot, which we want to get to be better and be an outside threat, it's effort with him and locked-in intensity. And boy, some plays on defense. He got a windmill dunk after a nice deflection from Rob Finney. And so I was really impressed with those two guys. And obviously, the ball went in the bucket for those guys. Talking about a couple other, Rob Finney coming back over his lower abdominal injury, not starting. He looks to be getting back up to speed and is the Rob Finney that we know. Obviously, being out a month, he's going to be behind. There's a couple times I thought his guy got an angle to the rim against him defensively that normally he does not give up. And so those things will come when he gets his legs back and can play 30 minutes. But I thought he played well. Trace Jackson-Davis is a great athlete. And one thing that I will mention is don't get caught up in stats and who's scoring and who's not scoring. Look at the flow of the game and who's playing well. I thought Race Thompson got some nice rebounds. They weren't necessarily contested rebounds, but he just went up and snagged them. He did a couple nice things. Joey Brunk got involved later in the half with some plays around the basket, and Joey's just going to be that guy that picks up some slop plays down low. So it'll be interesting to see what Archie decides to do coming out of the second half. What kind of lineup is he going to try to go back to some of those bigs? Is he going to go more to the small lineup that really stretched out the lead? I know what I would like to do, but you also have to realize as a coach, it's the first game. You want to get things on film. He mentioned he was going to script the first half, and so that was part of the script, and then he was going to go by feel in the second half. He might have built a nice enough lead to where he can go back to scripting some things and work out some kinks if he does want to go with that bigger lineup. So I wouldn't be surprised to see both kinds of lineups in the second half as Archie tries to, again, get some game reps for people. So your Indiana Hoosiers are off to a good start. And something else that I'll say, and you can come on the post game in the chat room or hit us up on Twitter and comment if you agree or disagree. The 11-8 start was nice. And Western Illinois hit some threes, and so that's going to keep the early score a little bit tighter. But one thing I'm watching this year is how do Indiana teams start the halves? And last year, boy, that was a struggle for the Indiana Hoosiers. And getting to the 11-8 lead, now maybe we need to work on that second segment of play because in the exhibition and in this game that was lagging. But maybe that was just the rotation and the changeup of the pattern of subs at that point in time, but I like that start. I really am going to be interested here in the second half to see how the Indiana comes out. And I also think it tells you a lot about a team when they have a 20-point lead at halftime, regardless of the competition, how competitive is your team. Indiana lacked toughness last year. They were, fun to watch. There were some good guys on the team, but in my opinion, they lacked toughness. Tough teams play against the game. They don't play against the opponent or the score. Do they come out and play with great effort and great intensity? And if so, that could speak volumes regardless of shooting percentage and points and who scores and who doesn't. This team needs to develop an identity of toughness, and you do that in blowouts as well as you do in close games. So look for your Indiana Hoosiers to have a variety of lineups here in the second half. Look for some players to build on what they did in the first half. If they struggled a little bit, maybe get a little better. The nice thing about the November schedule is when you get leads like this, you can relax a little bit more as a fan than as a coach and player. We don't want them relaxing, but as a fan, you can relax and watch some technique and see some of those things develop that Indiana needs in order to have a successful non-conference season and have a good Big Ten season. So I hope I did all right on this. I hope you guys actually saw it. Watching the game, taking notes, and then getting everything live is tricky, at least for me, not for the veteran and the guru, Jerod. Look forward to seeing you on the post-game show. Andy's going to host the post-game show, but I will be there, and we will discuss, hopefully, a victorious Indiana basketball game after the show. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you later.